We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
I blame it on industry. I blame it on my own hypocrisy. It's education and politicians. No one's willing to step up and speak.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We are live and we are coming to you from paceradio.net. I'm your host, Al Graham, and tonight I'm joined by my joint host, the very busy Kim Cooper, and very busy Kim Cooper. And we have a guest who is a patient, and he's here to do something that we here at Pace Radio Show like to do. We like to be able to share people's stories, and our guest tonight is here to do that. But as always, Kim and I are going to have our chat, and we've got some follow-up news to discuss, don't we, Kim?
We sure do. There's a story that made some headlines today that caught everybody's eye. We've talked about this in the past. Vancouver, Vancouver Harm Reduction Society over there has been working with the city for plans on a drug decriminalization act, and we've got some updates on that today.
That's right, yeah. These people were over there. They're asking the federal government and the city of Vancouver to halt the march towards this possible drug decriminalization in the city. And what it is a letter was sent to the health minister, and that the city of Vancouver and British Columbia are working together on decriminalization. And a coalition of 15 organizations said that the current proposal must be scrapped immediately or risk reproducing the harms of prohibition.
Yeah, that's a big move. 15 organizations that are involved in this are like, what is going on? This thing that you're drafting is worse than what we have now. So that speaks volumes. They say, quote, "We cannot abide by the phony Vancouver model of decriminalization and refuse to be tankin-sized in petty political bids," according to a letter from groups representing their users.
Yeah, they go on to say that we want decriminalization put on our terms, not the terms of the police and the politicians.
Yeah. The group says the police have an oversized role in developing the so-called Vancouver model, and that the thresholds that define simple possession are too low in the latest submission to Ottawa. So, I mean, for the average addict, and I mean, that's what this is about. It's about clearing the court systems and treating the addicted population as a medical condition rather than a criminal act. That's the whole objective behind this initiative and most decriminalization initiatives that are out there. It's clogged courts and it's people that are patients being criminalized, and that's what we're trying to alleviate here. So if the amounts are so low that they are far too low for what an addict would have on their person for, say, a single or two uses, then they're useless.
Yeah, they say here that the coalition is demanding that the Vancouver Police Department take a back seat in the discussions and asking the city to raise the proposed drug thresholds from a supposed 3-day supply. So, supply is an access is being, is there. As far as, they want to make sure that the person has a supply and not, if they have more than a 3-day supply, that, they're going to be criminalized for it.
Yeah.
So they got 5 days, and they're all of a sudden now they're a criminal because they got an extra day or two supply? Yeah,
exactly. The amounts that the Vancouver Police Department is demanding that they have, they're just not going to work for the objective that these groups are trying to obtain.
Yeah, Vandu representative Garth Mullins, he said that that is a focus group. That is not co-design. This is the criminalization regime designed by and for police, and it is a Trojan horse to recriminalize us on the other side of its implementation.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Then they can say it's not simple possession. It's over this amount, which is decriminalized now. So now we go straight for the trafficking, and larger charges for a simple user or a patient that maybe has a 1 week supply instead of the legal 3-day supply.
Yeah,
and now we're even greater trouble.
Yes, exactly. They say that lower thresholds on what constitutes simple possession, rather than possession for the purpose of trafficking, means users cannot buy multiple day supply in one purchase without violating the criminal code.
Yeah. Especially given today's world and today's climate. That's forcing people to go outside every 2 or 3 days now.
Yeah.
And you're telling everybody to stay home. Come on, guys.
Yeah. And, you don't want, if you're trying to cut that down from happening on the street, why force them to go out there every other day or every day?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So
especially in today's climate. I mean, the whole thing is just redonkulous. And even besides today's climate, what other patient, and that's what these people are, they're patients. If we're talking about decriminalization of this and making it a health issue, in doing so, these people now go from criminals to patients. So let's address that immediately. So these patients now are being forced into getting a 2 to 3 day supply of what can only be thought of as a medicine for their condition, treating their addiction. What other regime you only get 2 or 3 days supply? Everything else you get at least a week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you get your prescription drugs, you get a month's worth, but and I also see here, not only does Vancouver do it, but the province of BC itself is also preparing its own application to be included in some type of thing around this. They want their exemption. Yeah. So, it's, starts in Vancouver, goes to province. Will it spread?
Hopefully, there's got to be something done. Like, just one point, in fact, in this article, in BC, deaths linked to synthetic opioid and fentanyl have been on a decline with the numbers that are coming in because of things like the Cannabis Substitution Program. It's actually making a difference there. So, I mean, this is another branch of that. It's another avenue of putting this on a spotlight of a health issue rather than a criminal issue. And there's a shot at these people actually getting better.
Yes, exactly. Yep. That's right. Help them. Don't stigmatize them and put them in jail. So
that's it.
No. All righty. There you go. So let's see what happens. We'll keep an eye on this story and see what happens coming down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be watching out for the province-wide application as well as what's going on in the city of Vancouver.
And something tells me we're not done talking about that subject tonight, and that I'm sure will come up with our discussion with our guest.
Absolutely, and I'm excited for tonight.
All right. Well, it's that time. I'd like to introduce our guest, who is a patient, and he's here to tell his story, plus much more. We'd like to welcome Ron McNabb to the Pace Radio Show. Welcome, Ron. How are you tonight?
Doing great. Thank you, Al and Kim, for having me on the show tonight. Really looking forward to sharing my story about how cannabis has helped me with a whole host of different medical issues. I've been a faithful listener of Pace Radio for a little while now, and definitely a champion for the cause. And I'm really looking forward to sharing my story.
Good.
Awesome,
Good.
Ron. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, because we do see you active. You're commenting on the posts online, on Spreaker, as well as on Facebook and stuff. And I thought, geez, we got to get this guy on here and find out more about him, because he's telling us that way. Now we can get it all. We get it in the air and let people know, because we talked off the air just before the show, and we agreed by sharing one story and experience with cannabis, it can help others, and whether it helps one person or two people or 100 people, if it helps somebody, that's what counts.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely,
Exactly.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So what we're gonna do here, you're both of our guests, and normally, throw questions. Let Kim get started. Kim, did you want to get started with the questions here?
Yeah, sure. I'll dive right in with Ron. I want to start off by saying, a big thank you to Ron, not only for coming on to tonight's show, but I mean, I owe this guy a huge, huge ball of thanks. Ron is a member of a group that I operate, Cannabis Information with Northern Ontario, Kim, on Facebook, otherwise known as IWK. I was on Facebook restrictions. They stopped me from posting, and they stopped me from doing anything for several months. And Ron was one of several people that came to my rescue and saved my page by keeping the content up to date and relevant and posting news stories for me. And then, I was sending all these stories to people, and then Ron's like, well, I've got some stuff. I'm just going to post it. And it was all fantastic. And I was like, take it away. And he's been on that ever since, keeping the content alive on the site for me. And he just dove right in. When he agreed to be our guest tonight, I was really, really excited to be able to have the opportunity to learn more about Ron and Ron's backstory and what makes him so determined to get this information out. Because whenever anybody has that kind of drive, there's a reason. And I want to hear all about it. So Ron, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being so active on social media. And let's start off by, give us a bit of background on Ron. Tell us, you're a patient. How did this come to be?
Okay. Yes, I am a patient. I've been dealing with chronic pain, c-ptsd, a whole host of other issues, arthritis, various different kinds of arthritis, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you name it. I've been dealing with that for about the last 20 years. The most serious being a workplace accident back in 1998. Fell off a roof, shattered my ankle, and my life was never the same. The whole strange thing about it is that was supposed to be my last night on the job. My wife and my 2-year-old daughter at the time, we were planning to move out to BC. And I'd gone back to school to study to be a millwright, just taking a pre-apprenticeship course, and obviously that was no longer possible. And my life changed forever that day, March 7th, 1998. And
Wow.
And it was, it's been quite the journey to now. From 2000 to 2014, I worked several different office jobs. Previous to that, I had worked manual labor jobs only all my life, never had any experience working in office. Ended up doing quite well. Never ended up making a lot of money through it, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. But through all of that, I dealt with depression, anxiety, lost several jobs because of it, had several breakdowns, sometimes at the place of employment. And my last job, ironically, was a company that assisted Canadians with applying for the disability tax credit. And they had let me go due to me not being able to handle the job. It was a whole situation.
Wow.
And obviously, because of the mental state I was in, wasn't worth the fight for me. didn't have anything within me to fight.
But when you go through all of
yeah.
this kind of stuff, it breaks you down. Not only
It
physically
does.
but mentally. It breaks you down. One thing after another, and you just feel like you're a snowball going downhill fast,
Mhm.
picking up steam as you go, and everything just becomes heavier and heavier and heavier until it's crushing you.
Well, that's exactly what happened, and I just finally had a moment of just that was it. I couldn't take it anymore, and then I ended up losing the job, and again, it wasn't worth the fight for me at the time. Due to that, I ended up losing out on CPP benefits. So I am currently on ODSP right now, and that's a whole rigmarole altogether, which has compounded the issues with the chronic pain and the PTSD and all that as well. As much
It's a shit show. It's a shit show.
Yeah,
I feel you.
yeah,
I feel
it
you.
is.
I did. And you
Yeah.
know what? Your story is painfully familiar. We've heard this from so many people. Where
Exactly.
one thing happens and it winds up out of control. And it all starts with
Yep.
an accident somehow, whether it's on
Yep.
the job, in a car, a slip and fall, whatever it is. It's some
Mhm.
sort of an accident or trauma. And it just sends life into a spiral.
Yeah. Well, for me, there was a lot of lead up to that. The most serious was the accident that totally, massively changed my life forever. Initially, when I had gone into the hospital, the orthopedic surgeon wasn't sure if they were going to be able to even save my foot. I had smashed my right ankle to bits.
Oh.
It was a whole shit show with the way the whole thing was handled. I had gone to one hospital. A coworker had driven me there. They said, "Oh, it doesn't look like much of anything. Maybe a hairline fracture." Sent me on my way. Little did I know how bad it actually really was. And of course, I was in shock, and my coworker was in shock. And it ended up being that they weren't sure that they were going to be able to save my foot. Thankfully, they did. Although there's been times over the years I wish that I almost had lost the foot because of the issues in that I've had since the surgery.
Yeah,
to fix the issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and here I am now. I moved to Northern Ontario for health reasons back in 2015. After working several jobs, just in having breakdowns, and just it was enough. I said, you know what, enough is enough. It's time to take care of me because it was affecting my family. My wife and I are now married, going on 26 years this year.
Oh, nice, congratulations!
And but it almost, thank you. It almost tore our marriage apart, though.
Yeah, that kind of thing can, right? I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot for anybody to handle. It's a lot for a family to go through.
Oh, yeah.
It is. And what one of the things that really got me is the guilt in it all. Is the way that I ended up reacting with my family and interactions and stuff, just because of the stress and the pain that I was dealing with. And I look back now and you just realize, oh man, the damage that was done.
Oh yeah.
But you have to pick up and you move on. And thankfully, as I'm going to mention on my story later on, the listeners will be able to get a more of an insight on how my life has changed and what my outlook is on life and where it's going from here. It got to the point where just prior to me moving to Northern Ontario, I almost killed myself running. I almost ran out in front of traffic in front of my apartment in Toronto. And it was rough. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
But,
and then you migrated to the north, and now you live in North Bay. You're a fellow northerner up here at the gateway to the north, right at the very start of it all. And you found us up here.
I did. But ironically, I moved up here in 2015, already with the intent of wanting to try out medical cannabis to see what it was all about. I was never really against cannabis at all. I've always loved the smell.
So through all this,
I've never.
Through all this, through all this, you had never had cannabis?
No, there was no cannabis
involved. Never.
There was no cannabis involved until this point, Al.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pharmaceuticals, a whole host of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, he was on the pharma train.
Yeah. So
prescription after prescription.
Yes, I believe, there was it 23? Did I read somewhere 23 different prescriptions you were on?
Yeah, 23 pills a day. In the next segment, I do have a little bit more information on that side of it.
Yeah.
I can expand a little bit more there. Sure. But it was 2017. I became a cannabis patient, but I still was using pharmaceuticals up until 2020, March of 2020.
Yeah.
And
takes a while to get off all that shit, man.
Well, that is a whole other can of worms altogether, which
takes a while.
Which I'll be discussing a little bit later with some of the barriers with it being on disability and having a disability.
They don't want you off. I've been there. I know.
Being on disability pension and also having a disability are two major factors that play come into play with any cannabis patient who have that scenario there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I bet you during that time when you didn't have it, when you weren't using cannabis, you didn't have any problems getting access to any medication, did you?
Oh, they're handing you that easy, right?
Yeah, I had all the access I wanted to that.
Yeah.
As I said, I was never against cannabis.
Right.
Most of what it was, the lack of information that was there. From the I've always been a rule follower. I was brought up that way. You do what the government says. You do
respect the law and all that stuff. Yeah.
And becoming a cannabis patient has really opened my eyes to that, and it's been a journey of self-discovery, a journey of self-learning. And I've been able to combine some of my personal strengths with that in being able to help myself heal, and also to be able to help spread the message to others.
Yeah. It's amazing, when you discover what cannabis can do for you, and when we discover these things, and it's like, well, shit, I didn't know that. Well, shit, I didn't know that. Oh, well, shit, look at that. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. Why doesn't everybody know this?
Right.
And then you get this itch. You get this itch, and the only way you can scratch that itch, you got to tell people.
Yeah.
It becomes a passion.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and that's exactly why I so much appreciate the opportunity, Kim, to be able to post content to your page, to IWKs, because you know what, what's happened to me and what's helped me, I can't be quiet.
Yeah,
I have to share it. You have to. It's, you got to disperse the years of lies.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've heard it a gazillion times over the years. Al and I have with pretty much every patient that we've interviewed. It's a similar scenario, whatever situation they're coming from. They discover cannabis, and it's like the same thing. The light bulb goes on. It's like, well, okay, I have to tell everybody. I start off telling my family.
Exactly.
Then I go to telling my friends. And now I'm, oh, well, look at this. There's social media. I have to talk about it on here too. And
my entire life, I don't work. I've stopped working because for my health.
Yeah.
And my entire life is all about cannabis. I grow it, and that I'll be discussing that a little bit later on in the show as well. Obviously I smoke it, but everything is cannabis. It drives my wife nuts sometimes, but you know what? Once you've experienced what we've experienced, you can't be quiet.
no,
exactly.
You have to share the message.
And you know, it's, and then they, you know, the wife, you know, can see should be able to see the advantage as well. And I you know, I gotta agree that you know, in the beginning that I had people that were saying shh.
Yeah. Quiet. Don't talk about that. Oh no. Oh no, Aunt Harriet's here. Be quiet.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, no, Aunt Harriet needs to hear this shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, they themselves see the benefit in the patient, in yourself, and you know, in the eventually they find that you know, they'll be in a situation where there'll be somebody with, you know, maybe the similar condition that you've had with where you used cannabis, and they share your story without naming you, and share, I know this guy. He told me this, blah 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 blah, and it just trickles down, and it just keeps spreading. You know, it's
right. And he tell two friends, and so on, and so on, and so on, right? And across the board it goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Each one teach one.
That's right. Hey, Gary, he's up next week.
There's a little bit of a funny story there about Gary. My wife has actually talked to him before.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
And I was not a cannabis patient. I was not a cannabis patient at the time. I was interested, but we were actually looking at information about cannabis for myself through my wife's childhood friend who knows Gary, and she actually works at a dispensary herself on one of the reservations, and so it's kind of funny, a small world there. It really is.
Gary's a great guy. He's a fantastic fellow. Of course, we're talking about one and only Gary Pallister, and he is going to be our guest next week. So I don't want to get on too much about Gary.
Let's have Gary tell us.
I'm looking forward to hearing from him.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. He'll be on our show next week in the same time slot next week with Kim Saltarski, Director Extraordinaire.
Yes, Kim is an amazing person.
Yeah,
that's right.
Great guy.
He will be a returning guest.
Yes, returning guests. Both of them are. Gary was on with us. Shit, it's been probably 3-4 years since we had Gary on.
Yeah, Kim more recently, obviously, with Kim was on with Jack, right?
Yeah. Kim was on with Jack. We did Jack Kungle with Jack's Garage, the documentary, and Kim was on with him along with Karen Wookie, the producer. But yeah, Gary was on, I think it was shortly after the extract trial.
Yeah, I could find out.
Yeah, I think it was shortly after the extract trial, and that was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're definitely overdue to have Gary on.
Yes.
But it's a small world, and it's a very small community with the cannabis community. Even though we are global, I mean, I have conversations on a regular basis with people from all over the world, and they know the same people that I do right here in Canada, as well as in the United States, as well as conversations that I'm having with other people all over the world on opposite ends of the world. But that's cannabis, right? It brings us together.
And you know what? People who aren't in it don't understand it, and they can't see it.
Yeah, it brings us together. It's a common thread.
It's very unique. Very unique.
I know on Monday during the Reefer Reporters, Kelly and I reported on Emmanuel Macron from France, the president over there, talking about that the cannabis medicine or cannabis being benign is a lie or something like that. And then he's going on about how the college students are getting into cannabis, and then they won't finish their schooling and it'll ruin their lives.
Oh, God.
And then he went on about the hard drugs. I haven't even gotten to the hard drugs that it's going to lead people to. And
just bought right into them reefer madness propaganda, like all the way, hook, line, and sinker. Swallow that hook. Yeah.
Our job is not done yet.
Makes you want to bang your head against the wall.
It sure does. It sure does, and that's what keeps us going here. All right, talking about going, it's time for us to go for a commercial break.
Perfect.
Sounds good to me. Medication time.
All right, that's right. When we return,
I need it.
Okay, when we return, we'll continue our talk and our discussion with our guest, Ron McNabb. This is the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee to Marijuana and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888. and grow on with CTCP.
Who has huge buds? You do, if you shop at BMA Hydroponics. Attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net, and we're being heard not only in North America, but we're also being heard in places such as Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and even some islands off of Greenland and the UK. So, you just never know, Kim, where we're being heard at. And tonight they're getting to hear our guest story, and that's cannabis patient Ron McNabb.
Yeah, absolutely. Loving Ron and all he does on IWK and for the 710 Daily Sesh on IWK. Avid supporter of the Pace Radio Network and a patient whose story we are learning all about. And of course, it started with, a whole lot of turmoil and just a snowball going downhill. And it was scary and traumatic there for a little while, but he come out the other side, and there's a reason for that, and I think that's where we're going next.
Yeah. I was talking to Ron during the break, and you were off getting your tea there, and he was talking about the journey to wellness. Is that what it was, Ron?
Yeah, the journey to wellness.
Yes, journey to wellness.
All right, well let's hear about this.
So my journey to wellness began with becoming a cannabis patient in 2017. Prior to moving to the Northern Ontario here from the Toronto area, I had considered becoming a cannabis patient, trying it, seeing if it would work. Really wasn't against cannabis at all. Heard that it can help with a lot of things. But never really had any experience with myself. I've never smoked it myself, never tried it, never was around it as a kid or teen or young adult growing up. But in 2017, I became an official cannabis patient, registered with the ACNPR. I started on a journey of research to find out how this can help me, if it can help me. Joined many Facebook groups, left many Facebook groups because of all the drama. And which I know, Kim, you know full well of what I'm referring to there. And your group, IWK, has been a mainstay in my research, and it's been a huge help to me personally, as a patient, learning as I go, because as we all know, out in the medical field, in the legal medical field, there's really not a whole lot of help for patients. It's kind of sporadic out there. You can't even go into a store and talk about your health issues. They can't even give you any advice. And this was all before legalization, and it's just gotten worse even now. In my opinion. But I left many Facebook groups because of all the drama that goes on, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to get better, to heal, to get off of pharmaceuticals. I can proudly say that I used to.
Talking about pharmaceuticals, okay. You mentioned you were on 23 pharmaceuticals, and now Go ahead.
Yeah, I was on 23 pills a day that comprised of seven different medications. at a total cost of around $50,000 a year to the ODSP program. That's the Ontario Disability Program.
Wow.
Yeah. One of those medications alone costs $20,000 a year.
Whoa.
One, yeah.
Yeah.
But they can't cover cannabis.
Yeah.
I spend roughly around $300 a month on my cannabis. I do grow. That will be part of what I'll be discussing in the next segment of the show. But yeah, I was basically sitting in a chair all day long. To get around, I used a scooter, a walker, a cane. I am only 5'3", but I went up to over 230 pounds.
Wow.
Now I'm a healthy 160 pounds.
So you were heavier with the pharma. The pharma made you gain.
Oh,
weight,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a familiar
And
story.
guess what?
I ballooned up to 155 pounds when I was on pharma.
155 pounds, you?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll show you a picture one day, Al. I was a little bit round. I was pretty round, man.
I think that picture's
fucking round. Yeah. I was pretty fucking round. Nobody can believe it's me.
Yeah.
It didn't last very long, but that was my heaviest stint when I was on all the pharma, and I ballooned out, and that was just before I started getting off it all. Yeah.
I know of a lady that she stretched so much from getting too much of a drug that her skin bled.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, especially when you're smaller framed and you wind up ballooning out like that. I swear to God, if I hadn't had, been pregnant 4 times, then I think that may have happened to me. But pregnancy, I got to the same weight when I was like 9 months pregnant with my kids. That's how big I was when I was on the peak of pharma.
Wow.
Yeah. Scary shit, right, Ron? Sorry, go ahead.
It is. No problem at all. We're all one and the same here. We all have a similar story.
Yeah,
that's right.
Scary shit.
But yeah, 23 pills a day, 7 different medications, and guess what? None of them really did anything to really fix anything.
Yeah.
The one medication would cause an issue with something else. Then there would be something else, and then there would be something else.
You got the side effects.
Oh.
Yeah, the side effects end up being worse. The side effects can end up being sometimes worse than the original condition.
Yeah, I think about a quarter of the pills that I was on at the peak were prescribed because they were counteracting side effects from another pill that I was on. Yeah.
Two of the 7 different medications I was on was to counteract other side effects.
This is to fix what this other one is doing.
Yeah.
And then they end up causing another side effect of something else.
And now you need another pill for that one.
Yeah, the opiates bung you up, so we're gonna give you another pill that's gonna make you shit.
The loose pill is going to give you a rash. So here, have this cream. It's going to take the rash away. Oh, the cream's doing that to you, so you need this fucking pill. It's crazy.
Yep. It is.
Yeah.
And that's been part of my mission, is just to disperse the myth around cannabis, is that it's not bad. it's like it's so beneficial.
Yeah,
and the
side
people
effect
who
is
say,
you
"Oh,
sleep and you eat."
Like there's times where it works extremely well for people, and there's some times where it doesn't work for people. And pharmaceutical drugs, they do that. Happens to the same things. I know a guy that had problems with the pharmaceutical drug, the same drug that I had, that I didn't have a problem with. Well, maybe
everybody's
I did.
System is different.
Correct.
Everybody's system
exactly.
is different. What's going to cause problems for one is going to cause problems for another.
Yeah.
But for as far as using cannabis and saying, if cannabis doesn't work for somebody, I am 100% firm believer that is strain related.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't give up just after your first stroke.
Lack of education.
Yeah, that is
Lack of
100. You
education
haven't
and
found the
information.
right strain to go with your body to treat your ailment. The search is on, just like it is with, when they're prescribing antidepressants. I was on that train for a little while with the doctor. And they want to prescribe you antidepressants. Oh, we're going to try this one. Let's give you this one. We're going to do this dose for, 3 months. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, here's another one. We're going to try this one. And within, 3 years, you've been on, 12 different fucking antidepressants, and they're trying to figure out which one is going to work for you. You can do the same thing with cannabis.
Mm-hmm. Without all the nasty side effects.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, because there are so many different strains, different terpene profiles of the different strains. Your THC and CBD levels, everything. Cannabinoids are all
Yes,
it's like when you go into the drugstore and you go down the aspirin aisle and there's all kinds of choices for people, and not everything works for everybody.
You can get ibuprofen, you can get acetaminophen, you can get various brands that have different additives that give a different effect or a different coating or a different size or a different strength. I mean, the variety
the list goes on. Easy
you
to
look
swallow.
in any major grocery store now or any major pharmacy now, and you go down the antihistamine aisle, or you go down, the aspirin aisle or the pain relief aisle, over-the-counter pain relief aisle, and holy shit, there's 2 aisles now for that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah. And the thing is too, they just haven't found the right people who say cannabis doesn't work for them, that they haven't found the right strain. But here's the thing too, everybody's so different physiologically, and what one strain will do for someone can cause something totally the opposite in someone else.
100%. 100%, but like we say, it's that way for everything in our life. Some people can eat peanuts, other people can't.
But that's where the problem is within the legal system, is that it's all not the legal system, the pharma system is, you got all your standardized doses in that. Well, the same doesn't apply to cannabis.
No, and no natural therapies does not apply to
everybody's body's different, and what your body needs is different.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, we can take have a bottle of vitamin C sitting on our counter, or we can eat some organic oranges, or you can eat a bag of regular oranges that are imported from somewhere and that were picked green, and they're not going to have nearly as much vitamin C concentrate in that bag as they would from the organic bag that was grown to ripeness, which is why they came up with the pill for vitamin C, so that they could regulate dosage. But just because it's a pill doesn't mean that the natural thing is a bad thing. I mean, if you do your due diligence, if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to do the effort that it takes to get the right dosage of the right thing, you can do this naturally without a pill.
Exactly. It's all trial and error. It's looking up information, research. The information's there. You have to just dig for it.
Yeah, we've become a lazy society. Taking a pill is easier.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Oh, yeah. Give me a pill.
Yeah.
It's people look at it as being invasive because you just swallow it, but it's what happens afterwards, right?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a household like that, with a generation like that. My parents' generation. The ones that are 70 and 80 something now, if they're still with us. That entire generation, they were very much a pill generation, and that was pushed on my generation very, very hard growing up. I remember it being a big joke in Grandma's kitchen. Somebody would complain about an ailment, and everybody would say, "Oh, there's a pill for that," and everybody would laugh. you know, and it was like, you know, it doesn't matter. There's a pill for that. And that became the narrative for society.
My reaction is there's a strain for that.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And like you have to just do the research and it's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So it ended up being in 2019, 2020. I can't remember exactly. I mentioned to Al that it was January 2020, but I think it might have been just a little bit before that. I had a bad reaction to hydromorph.
Right.
And that was not pretty.
No, wouldn't be.
I'm not going to lie. I had two of the rare severe side effects with it, and I was only on a low starting dosage for about a month. One of those side effects was complete body tremors. I couldn't even carry a cup. I couldn't carry a cup of coffee. I couldn't type on my phone. It looked like I had Parkinson's.
Wow.
And it was horrible. But you know what? I had no idea really what was going on. I knew what was happening, but I really didn't understand what was happening because of the fact that my brain just wasn't fully functioning because of the other reactions to the pills as well, and quite possibly reactions with other pills that I was on. But with regards to the hydromorph, the other bad reaction of it was sorry, I just have to collect my thoughts here for a second.
Yeah, not a problem.
Not a problem. It's a difficult story to tell. I mean, it's a difficult thing to relive. I mean, and that's when we're telling our story. That's what we're doing. We're reliving it. I mean, we were there. We know what that felt like. You know, so it's a very difficult thing.
It was basically psychotic breaks that I was having. And I didn't realize it. If it wasn't for my loving wife understanding what was going on and taking a look and seeing what was happening to me, I basically, the last thing I remember, the last time I ever took any of the hydromorph was I was laying in a fetal position on the floor, just literally crying my eyes out, just wanting it to all end. And then my dog, she came over to me and started licking my face and kind of brought me back to reality. And it was from that moment on, I thought, you know what? No, I'm not doing this. And then March of 2020, I quit all pharma, and it was just cannabis only.
Awesome.
And
I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but you know, sometimes, you know, we talked about this the other day, a situation with another patient that I speak to on a regular basis, you know, and she went through a traumatic experience, and like she says, I'm thankful for that traumatic experience because that's what woke me up.
Yeah. It basically, like, I basically, to get myself off all the pharma, I loaded myself up with cannabis. I was using high THC extracts in a vape. I was doing whatever I could to get to deal with the withdrawals. And I did have a short period in December of 2020 where I did have to use some pharma because of an inguinal hernia surgery that I had.
Yeah. But I mean, pharma
couldn't
isn't a
use-
dirty word, right? I mean, we've got to make that
No,
clear.
I-
There are
exactly.
instances
Yeah.
in our lives where these medications were made for specific reasons. I think
Exactly.
the unruliness of the prescribing, the overprescribing of these drugs, the heavy prescribing of these drugs, the uneducated go-to mentality to just simply prescribe a drug rather than treat an ailment is what I like to I demonize. I don't demonize pharma. There is a place for pharma,
Oh,
I
yes.
think, in our lives. You know, it's there for a reason when utilized properly.
Exactly. I do agree, and I should have made that a little bit clearer. I apologize, but definitely, I'm not anti-pharma.
Exactly.
I'm anti improper use of pharma.
Exactly.
I'm anti-pharma first.
Yeah.
Unless the situation warrants.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if it's, I mean, you've just in a major automobile car accident and you're bleeding from everywhere and you're cut open all over. Well, you gotta have a fucking shot, guy.
Pass me a joint.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, we're not saying, hey, smoke a joint, you'll be fine. I mean, that's not.
It's the abuse. It's the abuse of the usage. It's the overprescribed of it. But to doctors, really, what is the other option?
Right.
Because the CMA doesn't endorse cannabis as medicine. Neither does Health Canada.
Crap.
Well,
So where does that leave?
They were
Where does
forced
that
to
leave
allow
doctors?
it. They were forced by the courts
Exactly.
to allow it. But they don't support it by any means. You can see that with our medical system. And we've had legal medical cannabis in this country, in Canada, for 20 years, and it never moved an inch without being prodded in that direction by further court actions from patients. And then lo and behold, legal cannabis for recreational purposes comes along, and it goes like a bullet train full speed ahead. I mean, there you have it.
And patients just left behind.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, well,
Right?
20 years we got one store, man. 20 years we got one legal store, and and we got legal cannabis now for 3 years or almost 3 years, 2.5 or whatever, and we got literally like 500, thousands, whatever, or thousands of them across the country. Well, there's 500 or 600 in Alberta.
Per province.
Per province. We got hundreds per province. There we go. A hell of a lot more than we got medical stores. And I was part of the People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada panel on Tuesday. Yesterday.
You know what? Yeah, I had that in my calendar for Thursday.
Oh,
I
did
missed
you?
them.
I listened to them.
I
listened to the entire thing.
I had the bloody wrong day written down, and I packed all night instead.
Oh man!
Oh shit!
It was really great.
I had it in my calendar for Thursday. I wrote Thursday instead of Tuesday.
Well, it's on their Facebook page for anybody who wants to see it.
I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
Yeah, it was the Zoom thing done with it, and now that we've gone off track there, I've misplaced where I was going with it.
Sorry, you were at the Zoom conference, and we were talking about legalization and recreational versus medical.
Yeah, and the what was that, Ron?
Yeah, it's all relevant.
Yes,
it
is.
Though.
Yeah, it is. And we're talking about the fact that patients are going to these stores and looking for the information, and what can be sort of done to change that. And we've only got the one medical store in all of the country that sells cannabis right there, and I don't know if they're held by the law not to talk to patients about the medical end of things or not, but that would be pretty silly to hold them back when they're a place where people go get medicines, and that's part of their job.
Yeah, one store in the entire country that you can go to, and their hands are tied to talk to you. Imagine making
That's
trip to that one store, getting there and finding out they can't talk to you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would hope that they would be able to talk to him because it's not a recreational store.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that because I need an answer to that question.
That's the one out in Ottawa. Is that correct?
Correct.
Al?
Yes.
I'm gonna look into that. I think I'm going to give those folks a call tomorrow and find out.
I believe it's basically a one-stop shop. I believe cannabis educators on site. You can purchase the cannabis there.
Correct.
You can get your prescription there. But at the same time, is it really meeting the patient's needs fully?
I guess it depends on what is.
But it's better.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what. I guess it depends on what they stock when it comes to what they have in supply there.
Yeah.
I have talked with the owner of the company through PAC and stuff in meetings and things, and he's a very nice guy. They're there to help people and patients. I have actually directed a person to there because they were in the Ottawa area and they are non-smokers and they wanted to be able to talk to a clinic and talk to somebody about it. So I sent them there, and that patient reported back that everything went fine. They got the information they wanted. They were able to pick up their prescription, and they were non-smokers, so they had oils available. I don't know whether they'd have any edible products, but they have oils there.
Cool. I'm going to phone them and find out a little bit more if patient information is available on site. That's the one thing I'm curious about because they cannot do that in a rec store. So I'm very curious to find out if they can. If a patient went in there and that's already a patient, doesn't need to see a doctor or need to get information, but they have a question about a product and an ailment. Can the bud tender speak to them, or do they have to wait for a physician?
Before we go to break, I'm just going to mention, the pharmacy was originally it was a family business, and the father passed on, and the son took over. And, this is a story that he shared during one of the meetings online for people to hear, that, cannabis was a proven thing and he believed in it and wanted to help patients. And, he's the only one in all of Canada. So,
that's awesome.
It's
awesome that it's at least there. It's a start.
That's right, exactly. All right, time for that commercial break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation in our interview with our guest, Ron McNabb, and I know we're going to talk on some growing conversation after the break.
Yes.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888. And grow on with CP.
Pace Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for tuning in to the Pace Radio Show. We are being broadcasted as always live right here at paceradio.net. Tonight on the program we're joined by our guest, cannabis patient Ron McNabb, plus my very busy joint host Kim Cooper, who is, I believe, on the move. On the move, hey, Kim.
Yeah, I am. I'm on the move. It's packing time. Packing season in my life, and it's not fun.
No, never is. Hey, never. You know, I moved so much when I was younger that I eventually moved into a house and I stayed there for over 30 years until I moved here 3 years ago. I hated moving. I join you in that, man.
Yeah, I've mentioned this in the past, but I've been basically on the road for 6 or 7 years now with hubby. I of course stayed home and he worked on the road, and when the last of the kids moved out, I started traveling with him. So I move a lot because his jobs take him all over the north for mining, and we're always moving. In the last 7 years, I'm finally able to go home. So this move is my last move in my life. I'm going home to my farm, and I'm never fucking moving again.
That's right. Okay, well, now that we've heard your struggles, our struggles of moving, let's move on to Ron's struggles and stuff like that.
Yeah, Ron's struggles. Ron's got some struggles with growing and, being affordability.
Affordability, being a patient on ODSB, all that stuff, and, it's growing enough, even.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Ron?
It's not easy. It is easy, but it's not. I started out with growing back in, as I mentioned earlier, I became a cannabis patient in 2017. In 2018, a fellow patient gifted me White Widow clone that I successfully grew into a nice plant. In one of the pictures that I had sent for the advertising post for the show tonight, has a picture of the plant in the background, as well as some clones that I had taken from that plant as well, to learn how to grow.
And
yes. Holy smokes! Look at that. Oh, Kim, you should see.
That was that was my first plant ever to grow.
Really, eh? Nice job.
Now, I'm no stranger to growing plants, as you can see in the background of the that picture there.
Yes.
My wife and I are avid gardeners, as were our parents and grandparents, and so naturally, growing my own cannabis was the only natural thing to do.
Yeah.
That's how I already love gardening, and but growing cannabis is a whole lot different than growing vegetables.
Oh, isn't it?
Isn't it? What do you mean? It's not just what? Come on now. They just say you just got to throw a seed in the ground and some water on it. There's nothing to it. Come on. It's just a weed,
I'm
man.
not even talking about that. That's one part. I'm not even talking about that. The other part is with oh shoot, I have a brain fart here.
That's all right. It's all right.
We teased a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. Anyways, we'll carry on. So, is the affordability with regards to growing.
Yes.
The whole process to be able to grow.
Getting equipment.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Getting equipment to grow.
Yeah. Getting equipment, getting the seeds, lights, whatever. Just even growing outside has its own set of battles, which I've done both inside and outside. I love having the look of the plants outside, obviously because I'm a gardener. But I've had so much issues with loss of crop due to powdery mildew and other issues from the elements. This past summer, I had five plants out there outdoors. I ended up losing about I think it was about 16 ounces.
Wow.
I can't really remember. Stoner brain here at the moment. I can't remember the actual figures, but it was a significant amount. I basically lost like more than 3/4 of my crop. That really hurt. And that's one of the issues that being on disability that you run into. You try to grow for yourself, and just even trying to get the equipment to grow is costly, and there's no help for it. Same thing with the cost of the cannabis. My medications, as I mentioned earlier in the show, used to cost $50,000 a year that ODSP would pay for, but zero towards my cannabis or even for growing. They will pay for a vaporizer. There's a few of them out there. There's the Volcano and one or two others, I believe. There might be some others added on since, but I have no real reason to even investigate into that. Just for personal reasons.
I was.
But it's a real struggle with growing. There's the cost. There's the physical limitations that I endure, because I'm using cannabis and just because I'm not on any pharmaceuticals doesn't mean that I'm not without issues.
Right.
Because of my financial limitations, I have to purchase whatever I can purchase. Sometimes that means not getting what I need. And that's, in my viewpoint, that's just wrong. Especially on the back of what I had mentioned, that ODSP paid $50,000 a year on my medications.
Yep.
And if they were to cover my cannabis, it would be a fraction of that. And the amount that would be saved across the board if it was covered, or at least partially covered, would be tremendous.
Yep.
And the thing is, people would be healthier for it too.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
It just boggles my mind with all the riffraff with legalization and all this, and right across the globe, and what Al mentioned before about the French president, what he had to say about it. It's like, me as a patient, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're talking about as if it's some evil thing that's gonna like kill you. Meanwhile, it's like totally the opposite. And that's why I just can't stop talking about it and spreading the message and getting the information out there. Because it's life-changing. And it really is. It really is.
It's something.
And myself, I've always been a law-abiding citizen and did everything by the letter of the law and all that. And so I would buy from the initially when I started, I would buy from the licensed producer, and I quickly realized that I couldn't afford to keep doing that, especially with wanting to come off of pharmaceuticals and moving over to cannabis only. I go through about 3 ounces a month, and sometimes that's not enough. But I do what I can do, and I try to have a positive outlook on life, and just basically try to focus my attention on helping other people.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not the first patient that we've heard, that has issues struggling to meet their supply of meds, and this pisses me off to no end, because especially legal prescribed patients here, in what other realm is your medicine treated in this manner? Since when do you get to go without because you can't afford it? Isn't this Canada?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's sickening. It's in my opinion, it's a crime against humanity.
Yeah.
The denial of easy access and easy affordability to this.
Now,
because
I just thought of something that might help with that. We were talking before about the pharmacies and stuff like that earlier. I saw in the news recently that one of the hospitals is starting to use cannabis therapy, and so I'm wondering, could that be something that could maybe help move towards that end of things? Help it to be recognized as a medicine.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be. It's coming. It's coming, but it's going to take time, I think, still, because two of the main things is the CMA and Health Canada don't recognize cannabis as medicine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which we already touched on.
I strongly recommend. I've been a cannabis consumer since 2017, but it was only the other day that I went. It wasn't only until the other day that I went to Health Canada's website and to CMA's website to see what their health warnings are against cannabis. And all I have to say is I encourage everyone to look at it for themselves. And it's it's wrong. I don't think we're going to see the legal system of like a proper medical system rather for cannabis until that's changed. And the Health Canada takes a lot of direction from the CMA.
Yeah, and there's those 3 court cases that I mentioned it the other day. You got your Parker Hetzig and the Smith, which those 3 combined went from cannabis prohibition being ended and medical being there, being growing and processing cannabis. And it's all been done through the courts. You know, it hasn't been done through.
That's right. It's all been mandated.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing.
I quite closely follow Pat and Jerry and the others that are currently in the courts right now.
Yeah, I understand. We're waiting on a decision on Jerry's.
Yeah. And Jerry's got a positive outlook on it, and I wish him all the best. And he's done nothing but good for people who need it.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of court cases are still pending. Jerry's, of course, out in BC, talking about, you know, we've been to court over and over and over again, and we're still left with the situation that we're in right now. And the only way it's going to change is back to court we go, right?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because as you said earlier, cannabis has been legal medically in Canada for 20 years, but really, for all intents and purposes, we really don't have a medical cannabis system. It's there, but it really does not meet the needs of the patients. It may some, but for the majority, it doesn't. And that needs to change, because if my life can be turned around from this, and me just working on my own to do this, can you imagine what it would do for other people?
That's right.
Yep, that's right. That's right. All from a plant.
You know, you know, we can go to a gas station. You drive a car. You're 16. You go into a gas station. You buy a bunch of gas. You can fill up your gas cans that you got in the back of your pickup truck, right? And no one says anything. But yet, you know, what you do with that gas after could be very dangerous and very destructive. But yet you can only go into a store, a cannabis store, and buy 30 grams because, you know, it's law, right? Which one's more dangerous, the truckload of gas or the you know, somebody who's got 35 grams of cannabis, like, you know? So
exactly. And the argument with protecting the children, by that logic, every convenience store should be closed.
Well, you got your sugar.
That's right.
Yeah. Like Red Bulls, you know, they
more damage is done from that with easy access to candy and sugar and whatnot to kids, including cigarettes.
Yeah. Well, you got, you know, Red Bulls.
Health Canada's focus is in the wrong place.
You got the energy drinks. You know, the 80 milligrams of caffeine type drinks, right? And they advertise them. They give you wings, you know? Like, you can't even promote the cannabis gets you stoned. But yet you can go out and you can advertise that your drink gives people wings? Come on.
Yep.
I don't know.
Same thing. Look at Quebec. 18 to drink, 21 for cannabis.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You know,
Quebec's an anomaly. Quebec is just, I mean, oh my God, just the whole province is just like, oh my, you can't even get a topical in Quebec because the government says topicals aren't recreational, therefore they can't be sold in the rec store. And there are no medical stores, so you're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I seen a recent promo for a topical that was coming from a licensed producer, through a licensed producer, and it was talking about all the benefits of the cream. And I thought, well, come on, that doesn't sound like a recreational promotion.
It doesn't sound like rec promotion. Oh yeah, put on this cream, go out and have a great time.
It's a complete shit show out there. Nothing makes sense.
Well, the other thing I look at too is we're always told not to take pills recreationally. Right? Don't pop those pills. Don't pop those pills. But yet, they're selling capsules at stores, popping pills to get high.
Yeah. That's in the rec store. That's allowed in the Quebec rec store, but a bath bomb isn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
As I said, nothing makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Ron, we got 5 minutes. Down to the last 5 minutes here. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on or discuss before we get into our shout-outs? We always like to give our listeners our guests an opportunity. Did we miss anything?
Just basically, with some of the struggles relating to growing, as I previously mentioned, there's affordability with trying to get equipment, and then there's crop loss, and but one of the biggest things that contributes to that as well is my mental and physical health.
That too.
Because of the fact that I'm not properly medicated with the correct strains, and that I know that work for me by researching the terpenes, by researching all of the information that's available out there. 2 terpenes that work really well for me for my neuropathic pain is linalool, and I can't remember how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Guail, I think, or something like that. And they're really good for me. I try to find strains that have those terpenes in, but again, sometimes I'm reduced to just buying whatever I can get.
Well, and the thing is too, when you find a strain like that, if you started from seed, that's not available tomorrow.
That's right.
You're looking several months down the road.
It takes time to grow that.
That's
right. It takes time to grow that, process it. You got to cure it. I mean, it's not happening tonight or tomorrow. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And then, if you grow the great cultivar and it works great, it's maintaining a supply of that cultivar, right? I mean, it can get very, very tedious for sure.
And then if it doesn't work, there's all that time, there's all that money and energy.
Yeah.
And find out that you got to find another strain.
Yeah, well, this medicine's great for somebody else, but not me. Now what? Now I've grown all of this. Now I've got to get rid of this and find a patient that needs this, and hopefully they've got something that I can use, or you're trading stuff. I'll trade you this for this because I know somebody that needs the one you've got, but I don't. And then you've got 4 trades later to find out, find one that works for you.
Yeah,
it's good. I think it's great. I think it's great though that you're looking into all the terpenes and looking into the benefits of the terpenes and trying to find something that matches.
Huge. Yeah, huge.
That's where it's at. It's not just THC and CBD.
That's right.
It's the terpenes. It's the ratios. It's like even as your body heals, the body needs it differently.
Yeah.
So one strain may work great for a while, just the same as pharmaceuticals. One may work good for a while and then stop working. Same thing can happen.
Same thing.
With
that's right. Because your body's in a different place.
As your body changes.
Yeah.
That's right. Your body's in a different place. Your endocannabinoid system is more stabilized. So the strain you're using is no longer the right one because now your system is operating differently. You need a new strain that'll function in the capacity that your system is operating now. That happens on a regular basis. And a lot of people too put that down to strain resistance. Building a tolerance to a particular strain. Sometimes it is tolerance, but more often than not, it's your body has changed. So that one doesn't work anymore.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Because your body has I can't say that word, but
physiologically,
I think everyone exactly. It's changed.
Yeah.
Like when I get up in the morning and I can barely walk down the stairs to go to my little room to smoke, as I'm smoking, I literally can feel the cannabis working in my body. I don't know if this experience happens with other people, but I can literally feel it as a wave going in my body, and it's just weird. I can't explain it. And then within minutes, I've got relief.
Yeah.
I could. There's times, especially when I first started on some of the drugs that I was on, the intravenous drugs that I was taking through an IV. And when I got done there, I'd leave and I would smoke a joint on the way home because I wasn't driving. My wife was driving, so I just light up a joint and roll down the window. And I, like you say, you can feel that tension or that relief in your body as it goes through you, and I completely agree with that.
Feel it surging through.
It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's like, and you think in your head, this is working. Like, holy fuck, I'm smoking a cannabis plant. And you can just, it's
It's working like right now. I don't have to wait.
Well, with respect to terpenes, and this is where the market is really lacking for medical patients, and this is where the gray market came in real helpful, is just with the terpenes. If I smell a strain, I know by that smell whether it's going to work for me or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what you're smelling. Yeah, it is a terpenes,
you become
right?
synchronous to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you smell it and you go, oh, that's good.
The right terpenes are in there. That's the right one.
The plant guides you.
Yeah, it sure does. It's a it's a hell of a thing, and we've talked about this all the way through the show. But when you feel the difference and you experience the difference yourself, you can't shut up.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to tell everybody.
I drive my wife nuts. I'm sorry, I missed what you said, Kim.
I said when you find out, it's like, okay, why doesn't everybody know this? I have to tell them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I gotta tell them. You'll be at a place. You'll be at a place that it's not even cannabis related. It's just out of the nowhere, and all of a sudden, there's something comes up, and you've got to speak up, and you've got to say something.
There's an opportunity to bring cannabis into conversation. It's like, oh, okay, no, I have to tell them because they don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely me. It drives my wife nuts.
But
she's at the same time she's thankful for it because she loves what the plant has done for me. It's
correct.
Been
well, our loved
amazing.
ones see the difference firsthand, right? They're the ones that see it firsthand. Is the ones that we live with. They've gone through it all with us. And they see it firsthand, and they can see it. And as soon as they see the change, everybody's in my life, I know, and everybody I know's life that has gone through the same thing. All of your loved ones, all of your family members, they see that they'll fight you on it, and they see the change, and they're like, "Oh, okay. So what are you doing now? You're smoking that, are you? Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. How's that helping? And they ask questions. And,
I need information now, and all of a sudden they're interested and they're accepting because
they are.
see it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is, and you'll find, who knows, you just never know. I know my wife Gail, she's been very supportive, and she would spend time with me educating people at shows in Toronto, and it wasn't something I expected, and I don't think she expected either, but even though that she wasn't consuming it, she still had to speak up because she saw the benefits that that she saw in me from the cannabis.
Yeah, that's it. Our loved ones see it the most, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I just only wish my dad could have lived longer to hear this show tonight. He sadly passed away in January this year of complications from diabetes.
Sorry for
He
your
had,
loss. Condolences.
Thank you. It's been rough at times, but you know what? Everything's good, and as I said, I just wish he could have lived to hear this, and he would have been proud of me. So
we all are, Ron. We all are. You've come a long way, buddy.
Yeah, he's listening, man. He's in listening. Don't forget, we're in cyberspace. We're in space, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All righty.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Is there anything else?
I appreciate being able to come on the show. No, I just wanted to say I appreciate being able to come on the show tonight just to share my story. There's a whole lot more to it than this.
There always is.
I'll just leave that
Join Ron on
possibility.
IWK. You can join Ron on IWK and ask him all the questions you want.
Hey, you never know where things will go.
That's
you
right.
Never know what will happen.
Exactly.
With the 710 daily chefs, that was just supposed to be just for a little while.
Yeah,
look what it's
turned
into.
Couple of weeks.
There you go, eh?
15 minutes, like 15 months later.
So you're obviously one of the hosts on IWK.
No, he's just a viewer.
Just a viewer. Just a viewer. There you go.
He's been at every one of them. He doesn't miss a sesh.
There you go. There you go.
I actually would love to. I would love to be a host for the 710 sesh daily sesh sometime, but unfortunately, I don't have good enough computer equipment. I do have my cell phone, but the internet connection is kind of dicey. I do have data. That I'm using that right now. But using data with the video can cause a little bit of issue.
Well, no, you're used to using a cell phone, because I just called your cell phone, right? So it's not like, it's just, we're using your minutes.
We only just got cell service in our area where I live in Northern Ontario.
Wow. I mean, I'm so bad up here for that kind of stuff. If you're in rural north up here, there's different pockets all over the place that still don't have stuff. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm heading back to my farm in 2 weeks, Ron. I'm going to feel your pain. I'm leaving the city in the north that I'm in, and I'm going back to my farm. And, back to satellite. I'm with you, buddy.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what? I'm jealous of you. I'm so jealous of you. I'm happy for you, though, honestly. Especially given the current circumstances in the world today. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I'm just happy I have a farm to go back to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
But,
be nice.
It's not always easy for me to be growing in that where I am too for outdoors. I live on the main highway that stretches between 11 and 69. So there's a lot of traffic that comes through there, especially when either highway's closed due to an accident. And I also have 2 other roads surrounding my property. So I'm bound by 3 roads on 3 sides of my property.
Yeah, especially if you're growing outside. If you're growing outside, you know, for your outdoor grows, busy area. Oh, for sure. Very, very, very concerning.
And it's the OPP that patrol the area here, and I don't want to rock the boat too much.
I hear you there.
I see no big deal about it. To me, I have large gardens. I grow a lot of other medicinal herbs, some common, some not so common. That's my wife's department there with all
That's
that.
for another show.
So for me, growing cannabis, it's no different than any other plant in my garden.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's the way it should be.
Absolutely, 100%. Mix it in with the vegetables.
Yep.
That's
on a harm
right.
scale. In fact, the vegetables I buy at the grocery store are more harmful to my health, than the cannabis I grow at home.
Absolutely.
I grow 100% organic.
And just so you know, Dr. William Courtney has always said in the past that cannabis is a vegetable, and it should be part of our dietary supplements.
It should be mixed in with our vegetables in our vegetable garden and grown the same. It's no different. Give it some special nutrients that are organic and keep away from all of the chemicals, and you'll be golden.
We eat dandelion leaves, man, in our salads, right? Everybody hates dandelions. They pick them out, they spray them with chemicals, but yet we have dandelion leaves in our salads.
My wife right now is in the process of making dandelion jelly.
Yep, dandelion jelly, dandelion wine, dandelion everything.
If no one's had dandelion jelly before, and they like honey, they need to try it. It's really good.
Sure.
We'll have to get you back on another show and get caught up with more, because I know there's a lot more that you want to talk about. But we're already over, but it's all good. I love talking to you, Ron, but we will have to have you back on for more. And maybe we need another show on the network about food gardening, Al.
Well, we just
you never know where life will take you.
That's right, exactly. Okay, Ron, this is the shout-out time of the show, where you get to highlight whatever you want to do, thank, promote, website, people. If you've got more than one, if you've mentioned them during the show, do it again. Whatever you like to do, feel free to.
Okay, I'm going to do a few shout-outs. First of all, to Al, you, and Kim for allowing me to be able to be on the show tonight and to share part of my story. And if it can help someone, that's great. I also want to thank all the efforts from PAC, what they're doing to help get cannabis where it needs to be for patients. I also want to express my never-ending passion for the cannabis substitution programs that are across Canada that have been started with Neil Magnuson, with his out in the Vancouver downtown east side.
That's something we didn't get to in the show. That's something we didn't get to. How you're such a supporter of Neil and Chris and all that. That's right. Yes. I just sorry for interrupting you, but it's that was something you said to me in the bullet notes, and we never, like Kim says, we're gonna have you back, man.
Yeah.
I listen to Neil's show every week.
Do ya?
Every week I listen to it on Pot TV. Yeah.
Very supportive of the community, Ron.
Oh, how can I not be? How can I not be with what this plant's done to me and with what the community has done with providing information? Yeah. Because the proper information that patients need is not out there in the public. I encourage, as I mentioned earlier, I encourage anyone to look at the CMA and the Health Canada's website to see what they have to say about cannabis. But just getting back to the cannabis substitution programs, just give a quick shout out to Mary McCarty, operating one out in London. She moved from the Vancouver location, started one out up on her own. She's doing quite well there. Mandy LaBelle has one operating out of Sudbury. I don't know too much about the operation there. And of course, there's Chris Backer with the East Coast Cannabis Substitution Program out in Halifax. And all the work that they've been doing together, it's just amazing. We're working to help patients who have been basically left out of the system, helping with the overdose crisis, with the opioids. Their work is just phenomenal with what they're doing, and the government just basically needs to move off their butt and take a look and see what's actually happening down there, and what help this is actually doing. Because all the government is doing is spreading the lies about the plant, the dangers. It's, as I said earlier in the show, it's, in my opinion, a crime against humanity. The denial of the proper information. The information's out there. It's just being withheld because of greed. That's all.
Let's hope that let's hope the grips are loosened off, and more information and more studies are out there, and people can find out about them, and the education continues. So, anybody else who got anybody else who want to throw a shout out to? Go ahead.
I guess just everyone on the Pace Radio Network, and everyone who works with IWK on the Facebook group page. All of you are amazing, and it's it's just changed my life with the information that's been provided to me here over the last few years, and that's where I just want to do that and be able to help others. And I hope that through this show tonight, that at least someone has been touched and will be able to learn a little bit more about what this can do for them.
Awesome. Fantastic.
I'm sure it has, Ron. I'd also like to thank you for your kind words and for being a listener to the program, and coming on tonight and sharing your story, because for some people it's not the easiest things to do, and I think it has helped somebody.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey,
no doubt.
I made it through with only one reason: cannabis.
That's right. We always encourage medicating during the broadcast, whether it's during the breaks or not. But it's cannabis, and as I said in the post, I posted some of your story in the post of the show, and then at the end I said, and then he found cannabis. And, things change. Things change big time for you.
When things change, that's right.
All right, Cam.
Yep. I got a shout out. I'm going to give my shout out to next week's guest. I'm really looking forward to next week's interview as well. This month has been a hard-hitting month. 3 in a row, back to back, 3 shows in a row, all really, really excellent. And the next one is going to top them all off with one and only Gary Pallister is in the house. The Yow Man himself is going to be with us. And, with Gary, oh, geez, you never know what the hell Gary's going to say.
That's
so
right.
This is going to be great. I am really, really looking forward to it. Him and I haven't connected very much in the last few years. Like everybody else, we've been separated by land masses because of our current reality. So it's going to be great to touch base with Gary, and really looking forward to having Kim Saltarski, director extraordinaire, in the house. Of course, he's directed to several documentaries in the past, including shorts on his own personal journey with using cannabis as a medicine. So really, really excited and looking forward to next week's show here on the Pace Radio Show on Pace Radio Network. Next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to it too. I haven't talked to Gary in quite some time. Excuse me. I always saw him at the rallies in Toronto at different events while I was there, so it'd be good to get caught up with him. So I look forward to that. Let's see. Just a couple of things I want to touch on. Just to let everybody know that we have a new show here on the network. Earlier we were talking about Quebec, Canada, Quebec. Connection is a new show here on the network. It airs Monday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. And that is the host of that is Tamara Cartwright, and Lou Clark is with her on that, and they are Lou is in Montreal, and obviously Tamara is out west, so they're going to be talking about cannabis in Quebec and the different things that are going on in there. So join them. They will be live. Tamara's running the board; she's doing it. So I'm going to throw a second shout out to her for learning the board, and congratulations. She's done 3 live programs this week, and I know that she's looking forward to doing more. So
awesome.
Yes, that's right. That's 4 of us. 4 of us now that are running the board here on the network, which is great.
That's excellent. That's fantastic news, and it takes so much pressure off you and I. It's just fabulous.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because like even like you right now, you're having an issue with the board. Not like the as far as a technical issue with the board. So even though you know how to run it, you're still sort of down. So it's nice to have those backups to the backups to the backups.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Computer glitches happen to everybody, so it's great for backups.
I can hear Ron in there. He wants to give another shout out.
I just want to give one more shout out. I want to give a shout out to Tamara Cartwright for her awesome job on the show today with Justin Loizos, I believe it was.
Justin Loizos, Just Compassion.
Yeah.
Yes, that was one of her.
I know she had some technical difficulties earlier, but all in all, awesome show.
Kim, you know how we always, it might be a mic issue here and there. Poor Tamara, 2 minutes into her show, her guest, Justin, the Skype call drops.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so all of a sudden she's thrown into, okay, now I got to deal with Skype and get it back. And she did very well and got the show done, and 3 shows this week, so she's on her way. So.
Good. And
today
that's all it takes.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, little technical issues come up. Well, when they come up, that's how you learn how to deal with them.
Bingo.
Cannabis makes it all better.
Yeah, sure does.
Just breathe.
Just breathe. Yeah, exactly. All right. Other than that,
it saved my temper many times.
Yes, exactly. All right. Thank yous go to our sponsors, the friendly folks at legacy420.com, bmahydroponics.com, drbuckscts.com, as well as the Camelford Lifestyle Shop, and to our guest, cannabis patient Ron McNabb. Thanks for coming on the show and sharing your story. And it's 2 hours almost, and we're gonna have you come back because obviously you got more to say.
Yeah. Thank you, and I apologize. I'm not going to apologize.
No, you don't need to, man. It's all right. We're controlling the board. We're controlling the board here, man. We got control of the board, so that helps.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, and always, Kim.
Thank you so much, guys.
As always, Kim, thank you for everything you do. And
no problem.
Thank you to our listeners for tuning in the program, and good night.
Good night.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.